AskReddit by Claz. What's a food you went your whole life thinking it was nasty until you tried it? Green beans. Turns out fresh ones are a completely different taste from the canned ones. That's how I am about spinach. Growing up I didn't know there was fresh good spinach. All I'd ever seen or tasted was the nasty canned stuff. I thought roasted potatoes must be horrible until I was in middle school. I ate over a friend's house and knew that, as a guest, it was impolite to decline any of the dishes, so I took a few red potatoes. And so the love affair with potatoes began. Why did you think roast potatoes would be horrible? Potatoes are so versatile and all of the various ways are delicious. Did you think it would be like eating a rock? Meatloaf. We had it as a kid and it made me gag. My wife then made it and I thought this is fantastic. Years later my mother made it for us again. I gagged. Sorry mom. If it makes you feel better, I grew up hating steak because mom always made it well done. Then I went to Hooters to celebrate graduating high school. I was a difficult student and got a medium rare steak. Changed my entire life. Capers. I don't like green olives and for some reason I assumed they tasted like green olives since someone told me that once. Now I want chicken piccata. Scalloped potatoes. I had been made to eat the instant box kind as a kid, and the texture and taste made me gag. Turns out that I love homemade scalloped potatoes. Man, that boxed stuff was a treat when I was a kid. Cheesecake. Cheese and cake form didn't sound appealing. I was 34 when my eyes were opened. This was my answer. Same answer but only until 12. 34 is just unfair. Rhubarb pie. I love rhubarb, but so many people absolutely fucking ruin it by adding too much sugar when stewing it. Rhubarb should be tart. Indian food. A whole cuisine. Edit to clarify, the smell put me off for years. Not because it was bad, just because it was pungent I think. I adore Indian food now, nothing compares. Greek is a strong second. My 75-year-old mom still says she doesn't like Indian food because she hates the taste of curry. Sigh. It might be my favorite kind of food. So damn good. Cooked carrots, add some butter and salt, goddamn. Try roasted carrots. Little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper is all you need. Kimchi, turns out it's delicious. And great for your gut health. It's a staple in my diet. Kimchi soup, kimchi fried rice with an egg and sesame seeds. Sauerkraut and cabbage. Then I ate at a German restaurant and the sauerkraut was good and they had something called Rockult, pickled cabbage, that is really good. Rotkohl, red cabbage. Green eggs and ham. Luckily, thanks to one almost unbearably persistent little fellow, I eventually tried it and found that I do like green eggs and ham. We have all benefited from his persistence. My grandfather would never eat pizza because he didn't like how it looked. In his late 80s we took him to dinner with us for my brother's birthday for pizza. So he ended up trying it. After that he loved it and said he wished he'd tried it years ago. Ceviche. In Peru, the marinade for ceviche is called leche de tiger, or literally tiger's milk. Once you've finished the ceviche, it's customary to drink the marinade at the end. When I first had it, I was very hesitant. After I tasted it, I'd drink a whole fucking glass of the stuff. Sushi, until I actually had it 10 years ago. It's so legit not an acquired taste at all. Hits like a good steak, or lasagna or something easy to enjoy. I wonder if the objection to sushi is cultural. I was around in the 1980s when sushi was considered sort of the ultimate trendy snob food, as much an indicator of this guy as a self-centered prick as a car phone in a BMW. At some point it graduated from snob food to street food and now it's a lot more popular. My dad still won't touch it, but he's 100. Edit. I definitely should clarify, I don't mean cultural in the sense of national culture, but in the sense of environment, cf. office culture, ergo, sushi was judged based on the people who ate it being yuppie jerks. Dates 30 plus years thinking they'd be nasty. I eat them regularly now. I never had dates and then I heard they were good to eat while pregnant, so I bought a big container from Costco. First one I bit into was moldy all the way through on the inside. Black. Now I won't eat a date unless I can cut it open first. Pho. I didn't know there was a version without tripe. The first time I had it a friend ordered for me and did ask beforehand if there was anything I don't eat. I said no, not expecting tripe. I don't like tripe. Hesitantly went again 10 plus years later and got it with sirloin strips. Delicious. Agree. I'm an adventurous eater. Even like tendon in soup. But tripe makes me gag. Sushi, guacamole, hummus. I read sushi, guacamole, humans. Brussels sprouts. Nowadays I can't get enough literally. Living in South America, they're hard to come by. When they've been available it was just a couple pounds. I grew up Muslim, so bacon and whiskey. Ronald Swanson. Sauerkraut. I've always been a freak for sauerkraut. When I was a kid, if my mom baked a can of Silverfluss with a pack of hot dogs in it, I was in heaven. Ranch. Mostly because when I was a kid, I was in a busload of 15-16 kids in a van. Said van had no air conditioning, and we were in a 4-hour road trip in the hottest month of the summer. 2 girls were in a seat in front of me fighting over a ranch packet which split, and all of its contents plastered all over my head and torso. Luckily we only had to go another 3 hours before I was able to change. I'm pretty convinced that most people, millennials, anyway, only think they hate ranch and mayo because of the awful low-fat versions we all grew up with in the 90s and zeros. A good homemade ranch is incredible, and mayo forms the basis of many things even most mayo haters like. Fry sauce, remoulade, a lot of restaurant aiolies, etc. Grits. I've lived in the South for most of my life and only recently cooked them myself. Turns out I just dislike how they've been served to me. I am from and live in the deep South. Grits are, of course, a staple for me. Love them salty and buttery and cheesy and sometimes with bacon and eggs mixed in. Imagine the absolute horror when I joined the army and saw people putting sugar in their grits. Just no. No. No ma'am. Grits are a salty food, not a sweet food. Eel. I was with a friend eating from a big platter of sushi and telling him how I would never eat eel, because it just sounded gross and creepy. Not like this is good. What is this? Eel. It helps that eel is one of the few types of sushi that is served cooked. California rolls. I always tell people who are scared of sushi to try a California roll first.